Hi, and thank you for joining me for this video. So is this OneTigris the only tent you'll ever need? Well, in this video, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know so you can decide whether this budget 4-season tent is for you. So everything you get comes in this well-made drawstring storage bag. It does have a grab handle on the bottom, and it also has the OneTigris company logo on the front. Now, when it comes to the size of the storage bag, the length comes in at about 55 centimeters and the width comes in at about 15 centimeters. When it comes to the packed weight, that comes in at about 1.7 kilograms, which isn't bad at all, especially if you're going to be using this tent for backpacking. Right, let's get everything out so we can see what you get inside the storage bag. So inside your storage bag, everything will come rolled and tied up with these two ties. You will then get your main tent, you will then get your outer fly, you then get a tent pole storage bag which houses two aluminium tent poles. One is your main pole and one is a spreader pole. You then will get a ground peg storage bag which houses 10 aluminium ground pegs as well as 4 nylon guy lines. Right, let's have a look at how to pitch this tent correctly. So the first thing we need to do is get our tent laid out and then peg out the corners. Now you can use a footprint with this tent. You don't actually get a footprint with this tent, but if you are interested in a footprint, you can buy the OneTigris footprint that goes with this tent for around £25. Alternatively, you can just use a little bit of tarpaulin or whatever you've got lying around. Right, the next thing we need to do is connect together the main pole and then connect it to each of the corners of this tent. The next thing to do is start connecting the inner tent to the outer pole. Next thing to do is to connect your spreader pole, and then at the top of the tent each side you've got a couple of these clips. Just push the pole into one end and then the other side of the pole into the other clip, and that's done. The next thing to do is to put your fly over the top of the tent and then connect it to the base of the tent, which is really easy because you've got these little clips. And then the last two things to do is peg out the remaining corners of the tent, and then when you've done that, connect your guy lines, peg those all out, and you're done. There you go, tent all pitched. It really is quick and easy to pitch this tent. It shouldn't take you longer than 5 minutes. Right, let's have a good look around this tent. Now, this tent currently comes in a choice of two sizes. You can get it in the 1-person or you can go for it in the 2-person size. Today, we're going to be having a look at the 1-person. But if you are interested in the 2-person version of this tent, I will put a link to that tent in the description below. This tent also comes in a choice of 2 colors. I've gone for it in a green and like a yellowy brown, but it also comes in a black and white. When it comes to the price, here in the UK, the 1-person version of this tent currently sells for around £170, but I have seen it sell for as low as £140. So first impressions of this tent, I really like the look of this tent. But what I particularly like about this tent is that it has 2 doors, one each side. So whatever I show you this side is exactly the same on the other side. When it comes to the outer fly, the fabric is made from a 20 denier sil nylon, and it has a hydrostatic head rating of 3000 millimeters, so more than waterproof. When it comes to both of the doors, the zips have storm flaps over them with some Velcro so they don't flap around in the wind. When it comes to the zips, these are YKK zips, so good durable zips, but they are also anti-snag zips, so I really like that. Also, at the top of the tent each side, you do get a little air vent that you can open up, which is really handy, getting a nice little bit of fresh air in your tent, but also it helps reduce any condensation. Now, when it comes to the outer doors of this tent, you can simply roll just one back and toggle it up, or you can roll back and toggle both outer doors up to give you a really nice size entrance. You can also alternatively leave just one side of your tent doors down, which will create a really nice size vestibule, so it'll be handy for storage. or you can use it to cook in. The inner fabric of this tent is made from a 20 denier sil nylon. The floor is a bathtub floor and it's made from a 40 denier sil nylon. It also has a hydrostatic head rating of 3,000 millimeters. Now, what I really like about this tent, it actually has two doors. On the outside here, it has a nice mesh door, and then it has a full panel door on the inside, which is ideal. It gives you a great option. In the warmer times of the year, you can unzip and toggle back the inner panel door, just leaving this mesh door down, which is going to encourage a nice little bit of airflow into your tent, which is going to help reduce condensation, but also it's going to keep any insects out your tent. Alternatively, when the weather drops, you can just leave this mesh door zipped up, but you can then also zip up the full panel door behind it, which is then going to trap a nice little bit of heat in your tent. Right, let's unzip both these doors and let's have a good look inside this tent. When it comes to the internal size of this tent, I think it's a good size for a one-person tent. The length comes in at around 215 centimeters. The width comes in at 95 centimeters, and then the height from the ground all the way up to the ceiling of the tent comes in at around 105 centimeters. You can also see you get a nice little lamp hook there, and then you get two storage pockets at one end of the tent, and then you get another two storage pockets at the other end of the tent. You also get several of these little nylon loops on the ceiling. They dotted all the way around, and those are there so you can thread a little line through if you wish. So let's talk pros and cons, starting with the pros in no particular order. First of all, the weight of this tent at 1.7 kilograms, I think is absolutely fine and ideal for backpacking. This tent was quick and easy to pitch, and it should take you no more than 5 minutes. I like the look of this tent. You have a choice of colors, as I say. The size of this tent for a one person, I think is fantastic. I'm 6'2" and I have no issues with lying down or sitting up or turning over in this tent. For a one person tent, I think it's a generous size. I like that you obviously get your storage pockets, you get your lamp hook, and you also get some nylon loops that you can thread a line through if you wish. I love the fact that this tent has two outer doors and two vestibules, ideal for storage or for cooking in. But the part of this tent I really like the most, and is why I say that you could use this tent all year round, and this could be the only tent you need, is that it has these two inner doors. Obviously, it has the same the other side. First of all, in the summer months, you can roll and toggle back that inner door and just leave the mesh door down to encourage a nice bit of airflow, which will help reduce condensation and keep the insects out. But when the temperature does drop, you can then just fully zip up the back panel, the door behind the mesh door, and that's going to keep the warm inside. I also like you have some little vents on the outside. With this tent, I've had no issues with condensation, and when the temperature has dropped, it's been more than warm enough in this tent. The build quality of this tent, I think, is really good, and as I say, for the money, I think you get a lot of tent. When it comes to the cons or concerns, some people say that they've had an issue with the waterproofing, say on the floor of the tent. They haven't actually specified whether water has come through the floor of the tent or through the stitching in the corners. I haven't had any issues, nor have many other people online had any issues with any waterproofing whatsoever, whether it's the outer floor or the floor. I just might think that maybe it was just a bad batch. Maybe it was just a manufacturing fault, because if it was a design fault, more people would be flagging this issue up of having water coming into the floor, or coming through the floor, I should say, of this tent. Yeah, but as I say, I've had no issues with waterproofing. Now, some people will say that it's not a true 4-season tent because the outer fly doesn't come down fully to the ground. Well, you can look at 4-season tents two ways. I would say that, and there are trade-offs between which tent you get. If you need a tent where you're going to be camping in the open, it's going to be a lot of snow, then yes, I probably would go for a tent where the outer fly goes right down to the floor. But then again, the trade-off with that is you will trap a lot of heat, which is great, but it also cause a lot of condensation. If you're going to be camping, say, in the winter time where it's still going to be snowing, but you're a bit more sheltered in the woods or the forest, or you have some form of shelter, then this style of tent where the outer fly doesn't fully go down to the floor will work absolutely fine. Yes, you might get a little bit of snow come underneath, but you will get that extra airflow, which will help significantly reduce the condensation. So however you want to look at it, there will be trade-offs with everything. Other than that, I haven't come across any more cons or concerns from people. Yeah, all in all, I think this is a really nice tent. I think it's well worth the money. Is it perfect? No, it's not. But what tent is? But yeah, as I say, a good all-round tent that personally for me, you can use all year round. And this could be the only tent you ever need. It certainly ticks a lot of boxes. But let me know what you think about this tent. In saying that, my final thoughts on this tent, I recommend it. I think you get a lot of tent for your money. Could you use it all year round? I think depending where you're using it, yes, you could. But let me know, as I say, what you think about this tent, and do you think it's the only tent you would ever need? But in saying that, if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And lastly, don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. But until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.